So we're on the sidelines of the Pondi Lit Fest, and I have with me senior journalist Kanchan Da. Kanchan Da actually needs no introduction. He's obviously one of the foremost journalists of the country. He's worked with the likes of Atal Bihari Vajpayee very closely. And I know, I mean, that's one of the things that everyone has been asking you this weekend, Kanchan Da. But I mean, I'll have to do that again. You gave this wonderful speech yesterday about how, what you took back from his life. But I think you should probably start by, telling the viewers that as well.
No, I mean, I really don't want to get into uh, a tribute to
Yeah.
Vajpayee because everybody is paying his or her tribute to Vajpayee. And I find most of it very, very fake, very insincere. Uh, it's because you are expected to say nice things, you say nice
Yeah.
things. Or because you want to be seen as having participated in this paying tributes to Vajpayee. Uh, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a quintessential politician. He was ideologically very clear. He had no confusion. Uh, I don't think he was a quote unquote liberal or what is now being the word which is now being used, statesman, which means that he was everybody's man. No, he wasn't. He was very old school traditionalist. He was a classical liberal, which actually means he was a conservative. And he never wavered from his political goal. And his political goal was to establish a non Congress political formation which would be free of the baggage uh, that the Congress still has to carry or the communist parties have to carry. And this is baggage essentially which comes with India's pre 1947 politics. So, towards to that extent, when the Bharatiya Janasangh existed, his primary goal was to establish the Bharatiya Janasangh. When the Bharatiya Janasangh merged with the Janata Party, his goal was to try and build up the Janata Party as the alternative. That didn't work for a variety of reasons, uh, which were part ideological, part organizational. Uh, and therefore, when it was decided to form the BJP in 1980, he thereafter set his mind, his heart, his soul to building up the BJP as the alternative. So towards that end, he never wavered, and he succeeded. He was also very Chanakyan in his thinking. Behind his smiling face was a mind which was constantly at work on how to turn every challenge into an opportunity.
But
And that's why from two in 1984, backed by the organizational skills and abilities of L.K. Advani, Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani were able to take the BJP from 2 seats in parliament
yeah.
to a full majority.
But what is it about him that drew you to him? in the sense that you worked very closely with him during his PMO days. So was it an ideological
No, I
thing
worked closely with him even before his prime
yeah.
minister's as days as
So
prime
was
minister.
it an ideological thing, or was it because of his personality, or what was it really?
It was actually accidental.
Okay.
It was accidental. I was the deputy editor at the Pioneer.
Yeah.
The paper was then edited by Vinod Mehta.
Okay.
And most of my colleagues there were left of center. And that virtually drowned out the other voice. So I'm grateful to Vinod. Vinod, as editor, never imposed any restrictions, or he did not try to guide content. So, this scarcity of the other voice in the
Yeah.
paper, it sort of got attenuated after the demolition of the disputed structure in Ayodhya.
Yes, yes.
And I thought it was necessary that the paper should have that kind of a voice.
I think I've read an old account of yours where this sadhu just fell down, right?
Yes.
Next to you. Yes.
So that was during my statesman days,
Okay.
before the Pioneer. Now, I started going out and meeting Atalji, Advaniji, Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi, and others. And I got on quite well with Govindacharya.
Okay.
He was very good company because he could tell stories. He could sort of distillate ideological issues into common parlance. So sometime in 95, Vinod resigned. He had a fight with the owners and he resigned. And there was a vacuum in the paper. And the Thappers, who were the owners of the paper, they brought in an executive editor who was supposed to bridge the period between Vinod's departure and the Thappers finally hiring a proper full-time editor. Now, this man, he was known as what is called a handout editor. So basically everybody gave him a handout and he would dutifully publish it.
Okay.
That was his journalism. I remember writing a piece then, before the 1996 elections, called Rom Rajya versus Ram Rajya. Or maybe it was the other way around, Ram Rajya versus Rom Rajya. In which I said, the choices are between, because by then Sonia Gandhi was on the ascendant
Yes.
in the Congress. The choice was between what Sonia Gandhi stands for and what the BJP stands for.
Yes.
Those were the two alternatives. Now it was for the people to decide what they want. And after a few days, this executive editor, he called me to his office. And I walked in, he was sitting in his chair and he looked very pale. It looked as if, he was about to have a heart attack. So I said, Ashok, are you all right? Are you feeling okay? He said, yes, please sit. So I sat down. He said, you must stop writing. You must stop writing. Just stop writing. I said, why? What happened? He said, I just now got a call. I said, from whom? Old man Thapar, that was L.M. Thapar, Lalit Mohan Thapar. I doubt he would say something like this about me. Why? What happened? So he said, no, no, I got a call. I got a call from Sonia Gandhi's office. So I said, from whom? So he mentioned George, Vincent George. No, the same chap who was later found, he was charge sheeted in corruption cases by CBI.
Yeah, it's no surprise.
So I said, Vincent George called you expressing displeasure about what I wrote and you are unhappy about it. Why? So he said, no, 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 no. You don't understand. Just stop writing. Just stop writing. So I essentially showed him the middle finger. I came back to my cabin, I picked up my bag and I walked out. I mean, I walked out of the office, I walked out of the job. But by then, I was also very dispirited. Indian media had begun to sort of take early shape of what it is today.
Yeah.
It was squeezing out other voices. It had no place for free thinking, independent thinking. And I remember Advani ji had once, just off the cuff, told me that I wish we had. I was young then. I'm old now. I wish we had young people like you coming in and working with us. So I had an old Fiat. I drove straight down to his house at Pandara Road. And I met him and I told him, see, I'm free now, I can work with you.
Nice.
So he was taken aback. He said, no, 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 don't tell me what happened. So I said that I walked out. He said, no, you shouldn't have walked out. You need money, you have to pay rent, you have to do this, you have to do that. And that's when the reality of it started sinking in. Because I lived in a company leased apartment. I would lose that. There were no cell phones then. There were only landlines. And it was a company phone, so I would lose that. So those things started sinking in then.
Yeah.
Then Advani ji spoke to Pramod Mahajan about it.
Yeah.
And Pramod said, nahi, karenge kuch. So I was attached to both Advani ji and Atal ji
Okay.
to help them with their parliamentary work.
Okay.
So it was not political work, it was essentially parliamentary work to help them with their, with research about bills, about on policy. And I got paid a salary. And that sort of gradually evolved into a very close association, a working relationship. And then finally my stint with the PMO.
Yes.
So that's how it happened. It wasn't something which I worked towards. It just happened.
Yeah, that's a lovely story. I'm sure a lot of those who are watching will, take a lot from it. I mean, in terms of how politics was played out.
Yeah, but I didn't do it for free. I mean, I was paid.
Of course. Yeah,
So I want to make that clear that it wasn't something, I wasn't volunteering.
Yeah.
For me, it was a professional challenge.
Okay.
But I must say that because of both Advani ji and Atal ji, I sort of was drawn towards them, and then a proximity happened, which gave me so much in terms of learning how politics works, learning how government works, learning how ideas work, how elections work. And I think I'm the only person who has drafted so many election manifestos. It begins with 96, goes into 98, then when was the next? 99.
Yes.
Then
2004.
2004, I wasn't in the country.
Yeah.
And then again 2009, and then 2014.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do it anymore because it then becomes, you know, अरे manifesto time है उसको बुलाओ उसको वो बना देगा. So
ठीक है.
that's how it became.
So, thanks a lot, Kanchanda, for those lovely insights. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank
for
you.
speaking to us. Thank you.
You know, but I must tell you something.
Yes.
I would suggest that everybody, including the technical people in this room, you should have some direct interactive experience of politics. I'm not saying with this party or that party, whichever party, because that helps you understand what India is all about. India is definitely not about what people who sit in their drawing rooms or Starbucks cafes or whatever, or even the chai shops and talk about. India is far too complex, far too difficult, and the only way to get some sort of an insight into that India is through politics.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kanchanda. Thank you.